Or 6 o'clock.
5:55.
5:50, 6 o'clock.
Close enough.
Finance Committee meeting November 30th. First item is authorizing the easement of Niagara Mohawk Power Corporation of the Times Union Center. Are there any questions from the committee? Anyone? Motion to move it? Yes, Ray.
Raise abstain.
Mr. Joyce will abstain.
I'll move it.
Mr. Miller, second. Mr. Chair, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. Number 2, authorizing Albany County Land Bank to accept grant funding from local initiatives from AmeriCorps. Any questions? They need us as a pass-through so they can get their money.
Mr. Chairman, these folks know that once the grant's up, there's no employment?
This is not, this
It's
does
not
not
ours.
involve,
Sir,
this is pass-through
sir.
funding?
Why don't you call down? This is a pass-through, for us. It's not a
They're not county employees.
county employee.
So no county health insurance, all of it?
No. Anyone else? Motion moved by Mr. Joyce, second. Mr. Mackey, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous, thank you. Mr. Connors?
I want you to know, first of all, I really did have surgery. This is not an attempt to soften the crowd. But I will make a commercial. If you have any kind of skin growth on your face and you think you can put it off, the sooner you do this, the more likely you are to avoid some of the issues I've had. So I want to thank Dr. Mulvaney for the Mohs surgery this morning. I'd like to start with an apology about the budget position that got moved out or deleted or whatever it was, the project management position. I've sent you, I hope, enough backup information about that. And rather than me going on forever and ever, maybe I can answer some questions for you about that position.
Any questions to the committee? Any commission, anyone, members, any questions?
Move it.
Mr. Clay, motion by Mr. Clay, move it, second Mr. Mackey. All in favor? Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you, Mike, take care of yourself.
Thank you. Yes, I shall. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you for coming down. Number 3 will be the proposed addition and deletions to the budget. We emailed everyone the changes. Everyone has it in front of
The changes are in the back.
them. To the back. Everyone have them in front of them, you looked them over. Any questions from the committee? Mr. Kraus?
Mr. Chairman, my understanding is that most of these increases reflect the 2% salary increase for county
Yes.
employees, with some exceptions.
Yes.
The sheriff's ones are based on the settlement that was just approved at personnel. And they may be more than 2%, but they're a contract settlement with the
That's the
union.
contract
negotiation.
settlement.
And the ones for the, okay, mind if I explain?
You're doing a great job.
The ones for the county clerk are actually reductions based on the fact that they have now unionized, and during the process of union negotiations, their salaries are frozen, so we have to keep them at the level they were at the previous year.
Are there any other questions? Motion, yes, Mr. Higgins?
Are all the changes revenue neutral?
Yes, it's,
There's no additional
there's
money
no
going for
additional,
the budget.
yeah, it doesn't change. Everything was found in the budget.
Just for the record, what's
The
the,
tax rate is still 0,
still zero?
yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Gray?
we are voting on just the blue?
Everything in blue, yes, everything in blue we're voting on.
Voting for each department, we'll go through each department?
No, we'll just vote on everything in blue. Everybody's had it more than ample time to look it over. If anybody has any questions, be more than happy to answer.
Would we be able to vote for each section?
No, we're gonna vote as a whole. We're gonna vote as a whole.
Because the last meeting, we voted for each department.
Yes, yep.
Why the
This time
change?
we're not, because it's more convenient.
More convenient?
Yes. Mr. Higgins?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just in the planning department, the economic cultural development decrease, can you just go, can someone explain to me what exactly, that was a $250,000 initial appropriation, and now it's down to 125?
That was for economic development, to be used throughout the county for economic development initiatives.
Got it.
Wish it was 250.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes,
I'd like to
Mr.
move
Graham.
that we vote on each department as we did in the previous meeting.
Second? No second? So motion to approve all the amendment items in blue, as amended. Mr. Miller, second by Mr. Mackey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mr. Grimm, thank you. Number 4, adoption of the budget for 2017. Any questions? Mr. Higgins?
I don't seem to have a resolution in the packet for 4 or 5.
The resolutions are in the packet for the agenda,
It is.
for the agenda for the meeting.
Oh, but they're not, okay, they're just the pro forma ones.
That's right.
Any other questions? Motion to move it? Mr. Joyce, second. Mr. Clay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Yep.
This budget is the county executive's budget with the changes that have been approved by the Audit and Finance Committee to date. That's the budget that's being presented to the legislature on Monday night.
Number 5 is appropriation of the containments of the county budget, the appropriations. Any questions? Anybody from the members? Anyone? Motion to move. Mr. Joyce, second. Mr. Miller, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you very much. Motion adjourned.
Mr. Chairman, I submitted an amendment prior, and it's not on the agenda.
I don't have no amendment in front of me. Who did you submit it to?
I was submitted to the council's office.
48 hours?
We got it at 4:30.
So,
I thought that the Republican council and the Republican office had put in resolutions and was very upset when we put things in at the last minute, and they want to make sure that everything was 48 hours prior to these meetings. You've been to every meeting. You could have brought this up at any time. You chose to send it at 4:30 when some of these members were in the car on the way here and had no chance to look at it.
okay, a couple things. One, the agenda doesn't come out to 48 hours, and I have to review the agenda. But you know what?
The agenda was out 48 hours. You're wrong.
I'm willing to withdraw my...
The agenda, wait, the agenda was out 48 hours, more than 48 hours, Mr. Grimm.
Provided the
And
same-
then your office can verify that.
Provided the same standard is applied to every piece of legislation that comes before this committee, you're setting the precedent that a 48-hour notice is required, which I accept.
Whoa,
Which I
whoa. 48 hours on the budget was what was proposed by the Republican minority office, and we've lived up to that.
Well, I will carefully be monitoring future dealings to ensure that the 48-hour notice is
You
respected.
can monitor whatever you want, but we've lived up to the request from Republican minority, requested that everything be out 48 hours before budget meetings so that it could be reviewed by the members. Everything was, I don't know what else to say. You're the
Well-
only one who sent something in within an hour.
Well, I'm perfectly willing to withdraw it, but I
Okay,
want to
thank
make
you,
it
Mr.
clear.
Chairman. Motion
that-
adjourned.
I want to make it, I'm
Mr.
not
Miller,
done. I
second.
want to make it clear that
Mr.
we're
Joyce.
consistent going forward.
I understand. I understand
Every
your
budget,
position.
every budget will be done this way.
Motion and second by Mr. Joyce, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you.